I'm delighted that Danielle Violetti is with us, and it will give me great pleasure to invite him to the podium to say a few words. Danielle Violetti, you have the floor.
Thank you, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first thank the COP22 Scientific Committee and the government of Morocco for developing the International Network on Climate Change Centers of Excellence and think tanks, and for inviting me today to be with you. This is truly an excellent initiative. I'm here on behalf of our Executive Secretary, Patricia Espinosa, who regrets not be here, but definitely is very supportive of this initiative. Last week, I also had the pleasure of sitting down with the many institutions and influencers who are working right now to build this network, and I heard the great progress that has been made in growing this network as well. I also understood the potential of this network, which has in meeting the climate change challenge. You see, last year, the Paris Climate Change Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals are the foundation for a future where growth and development is good for the planet and for every person on the planet. So right here in Marrakesh, we are constructing that future with many of these pieces of initiatives that are building on wanting to implement these both important milestones. So this network seeks to build capacity and build a bridge between science and policy. This is particularly important as we move into the implementation phase of the Paris Agreement and SDGs. The Paris Agreement is universal, and every nation has made a national contribution to it. To the long term of outlining the agreement to stay well below the 2 degrees and stay as much as possible close to 1.5. So we have to strike a balance between our emissions and the planet's ability to absorb those emissions. So every country must be empowered and enabled to take action that delivers on their national contribution on one side, but also helps to meet our long-term goal altogether. So public policy must now recognize the realities of science, seek solutions based on science, and move to implementation. So at the national level, to implement both the Paris Agreement and the SDGs, there is the need for capacity building and a better understanding of the interaction between science and policy. And as we now saying, the implementation of both agenda on the ground is the reality. There is no separation between the climate change agenda and the SDG implementation. They are all part of the development plans of every country. So the network is supposed then to engage and involve the institutes, Center of Excellence, think tanks, and policymakers that can achieve these essential aims. By promoting partnerships between these key actors, we can transform the growth and development model. We can also improve the lives and livelihoods of people in local communities around the world. So all this is happening for a variety of motivation, but definitely to implement our common goals. So for this reason, the Climate Change Secretariat welcomes today's discussion and the future work by the network. The foundation is in place to build on progress by the INCCCCETT initiative. Contribution by all nations can only be achieved by our best and brightest minds, so pointed squarely at scientifically sound, low emission and highly resilient development. We must work together. Partnerships remains an essential element of all work towards building the capacity and achieving these common goals. So we need to boost the activities to change, to reach this transformation in the economies of this country that is absolutely needed. We are not talking about small incremental steps here, but a real transformation. So we are confident that the innovators and influencers gathered here or will be contributing to the work of this network can help to unleash the full potential of the Paris Agreement and can realize the vision for a sustainable development that was agreed last year. So needless to say that together we can work to deliver a future that is peaceful and prosperous for all, and a future that keeps our planet healthy and livable. And as always, you can count on the support of the Climate Change Secretariat in that. I thank you very much.